certainly 3-0 after that latest game. Faceless only played 2 so far, I believe.
Yep. So both of them are undefeated, but it'll be interesting because they get to face off against each other, I believe, tomorrow, midday. So that'll be a really exciting matchup to see who's top dog. Unfortunately for this group format, compared to the TI one, we don't get to see at the top of the group actually going directly to the event, so it's a little less heated for first position, just better seeding, but nevertheless, 2 really good teams back and forth in Fnatic and Faceless as we expected. sig.trust actually, along with Warriors, Game Unity, and Fire Dragoon, all have 1 game under their, or 1 win under their belt. So while they have had some losses, they've also had at least 1 win and are going to be at least in contention for that 3rd or 4th spot.
This is Mineski's debut game, I believe.
Yes,
they
which
have
should be
yet
really
to play a
exciting.
game. So always a fan favorite. The Filipino fans are especially rabid. I think the whole world got a taste of that at the Manila Major, and it's equally true for qualifiers for online tournaments, not just for the big events and not just for the ones in their backyard. But
I imagine, though, TnC and Mineski practice a lot, given that the geographic location is so close. So I think both of them is going to have a kind of notes on each other, so it might just come down to play and skill, which, I think both of these Pinoy teams lack a good captain. It's going to be both teams running around doing crazy things, the Dota that we like.
Absolutely. And, I mean, they've got a lot of potential as well. Like, we've seen a few of these players.
He can never resist an urge to get in a little cheap shot at the Filipino teams. This dates
I
back,
love the Pinoy games.
This dates back to the International 3 qualifiers, Lumi, and you're still going.
I love Pinoy games. They're so fun to watch.
They are fun, but they've got a lot to them too. Because that TnC, they were able to put out a hell of a show under the leadership of Demon at TI. And so a couple of those members still on the team for TnC, and then Mineski most recently picking up a Miracle, not EU Miracle, MER, but still he just came off of his national service in Singapore, and I was really pumped to see what team would pick him up for this phase here.
I mean, this is the guy who basically pioneered Carry Naga, perhaps his most famous contribution to Dota.
Immediate first ban, Naga.
Yeah. I mean, some people might hate him even more for that.
Yeah, but that's not his only thing, fortunately. It's not like he only plays Naga Siren. He also plays a hell of a great Wind Ranger mid, which is something that I haven't seen in a long time, but he's had so many highlight videos made of his play, and yeah, he thinks about the game on a whole nother level, and when he can actually show his potential in the game, it's just so gratifying. So really hoping that Mineski does well, but of course TnC trying to prove that they are still a top-tier team after their losses to Fnatic.
And speaking of which, we got a draft underway here. Mineski taking on TnC, and we will be checking it out momentarily as the bans and picks are underway. And there we go. We've got Mineski on the Dire side, TnC the Radiant, and as you mentioned, the very targeted Naga ban to get things underway.
And Mineski just having the benefit of going for some illusion play, either with the Drow, the Luna, the Naga. They're able to really spread the map very effectively, as well as just push down towers without risk. I think that's the biggest thing about the way that Miracle played Naga Siren. He even went into Refresher Orb to get double songs, because the way he played it was a no-risk sieging, where he would essentially use his illusions on one lane of racks while he had the enemy team in a 5-man song. And so he would essentially just make it so that there was nothing that the opposition could do, and he was always able to really control where the enemy would have to play around his illusions.
I mean, it's pretty rare that you get to a point in a Dota game where there's literally zero counterplay. Sometimes it happens when you're just that far ahead, but it's pretty uncommon. And Naga is certainly one of the heroes that can get you into that full Nelson the quickest. So Mineski onto the Warlock, and they do this into a Slardar pick. Amp damage obviously great against the Warlock ult. And they will follow this up with a Lifestealer. So this is a hero that can punish the Slardar in lane and is relatively durable versus that burst damage.
I don't know if you guys hit on this earlier in one of the panels, but Warlock is a hero you're going to literally see every single SEA game. If it's not first phase banned, which is kind of unlikely because every team has practiced against it and knows how to play against it, you're still going to see a phase 1 pick for either side. I don't think any team in the SEA regional is not picking Warlock right now.
Do you think he's good enough to justify that level of prioritization? Not to say he's not pick that can work, but to be first pick almost every game. Is he really that good?
If you can play him like Ice does on Wings, and you can play around it in that capacity, then I think it is that high of a potential hero. But the problem is that a lot of people are emulating that, imitating that, but they're not actually pulling it off in the same flourish.
I mean, I think that's more of a team thing than a player thing, right? Because Warlock is a hero, it's not exactly too hard.
You're not like, yo, I'm going to swaggle you with my golem, yo.
You kind of just
I mean, there are micro-positioning aspects to the hero, and obviously getting a little bit more farm earlier, like just finding some good neutral pulls, could easily get you a faster Midas, which can translate into a lot of really good items. But at the end of the day, yeah, I think it's much more about how the team plays around the cooldowns.
But I think to answer LD's question, I think no, personally, because he's situationally very good. At the same time, he doesn't do much when you're very far behind. He's not a good tower defender. He's not great at pushing. To me, he's not as easy of a pick as Ogre Magi. I hear that you see do so much in early game. He roams, give you mid game with Bloodlust. I am surprised with the Warlock pick so frequently, but
The other thing is Warlock needs a lot of space. Like, he needs farm, he needs levels. He cannot just be walking around with, level 7 at, 20 plus minutes in the game and no items to show. You want the eggs, ideally the refresher. Like, sure, Fatal Bonds is nice on its own, but I don't feel like it's on the level of a Bloodlust or a disruption where it can just completely change a fight.
Unless you get that dream Fatal Bond. Like, it's about the enemy positioning, too. Because if you hit 5 heroes with a Fatal Bond, any team is going to be able to just wipe them out. Like, I like to make the comparison of, like, using a Zeus ultimate after a 5-man Fatal Bonds. That's an 80% amplification of damage because you're hitting every hero and then chains to the 4 others, 20% increase. It's pretty insane how quickly that stacks
But
up.
it's really hard to do that without farm, right? Because then you like, how do you position perfectly when you're so squishy you get one shot?
Yeah, if you don't have an Aether Lens, you don't have a mobility tool, much more likely you're going to be trying for that Dream Bonds, and then they're just going to jump on you and kill you.
It's like those Enigma players. They're just looking for the 5-hero black
Exactly,
hole, and then
exactly.
they just die and get like the half-second, complete swing and a miss. So, second stage of bans here. Nyx and Riki will be removed by TnC. Obviously, both great vehicles for Lifestealer. And on the side of Mineski, they take out some of the heavy nuker carries, the Timber Saw, the Tinker.
I do think that TnC was able to get a really important win recently off of the Tinker, so I can understand why they're banning that out and a little bit afraid of the TnC's potential with it.
okay. So before they picked the OD, I thought the pick would have been Bounty Hunter. For the nature of how these games generally come down to, which is non-stop fighting all the time, which is what Bounty's good at. You get the combination with the Lifestealer for that mid-game invest ganks. The problem with the Bounty Hunter pick is that Slaughter and Ogre are pretty resistant to early game pokes, so might not have been the best.
And also, then that's your only 2 supports, and you're wondering where your actual like good stuns are coming from.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, you have a Reign of Chaos, you have the Golem that can be dropped like once every 2.5 minutes, and then after that, you don't really have any real good stuns.
So Lion on the side of TnC. Interesting pick. I guess you do have the instant disable versus the Lifestealer before you can rage, but generally if Lifestealer is great against Lion, you just rage and run at him, and there's not a whole lot he can do about it. So we see Lion other times against like very mobile heroes like Storm, potentially against illusion heroes for the Mana Drain and the Hex to kill them off, but
Are they
why
counting?
Lion this game?
Yeah, are they counting on Lion getting a blink to go ganking with Slaughter? Okay, they need Lion for the Ursa, I think. It's more like Ursa just wants stuns, right?
Yeah, you just want somebody to enable him. You also have to be a little bit worried about like a Spirit Breaker pick for Mineski where they could go for an Axe Bombs with it, but obviously with the Axe that's not an issue. But, if you quick Hex on a Spirit Breaker charge, then you stop that train pretty early. But like you said, it's mostly about the fact that you get at minimum 2.5 second disable on a target that Ursa wants to just chow down on.
Would it have been better to have something like Shadow Shaman just for push as well?
It depends on the last pick. If TnC can still break down towers with their last pick, then that'll be fine. But if you are going to be limited in your siege potential, especially high ground tier 3s, then I think that actually would have been a very good switch up.
This is a very melee-heavy draft from TnC, and you're running into Fatal Bonds, into Warlock ult, into OD.
Warlock loves these kind of drafts.
Axe is great against this clump-up type of lineup, so I'm a little worried for Mineski. To me, TnC's draft is kind of that like MVP, TI, and Manila Major style where like they just have to snowball, but if it's like a normal team fight, Mineski just look like they're easily going to take them.
And when I was looking at the MVP versus Wings matchup, I looked at 2 heroes that would enable Wings to just absolutely destroy the 4 melee draft, and that's Axe and Warlock, which now Mineski have in their hands. I'm actually terrified that they're just going to be walking into trouble.
And they have another, likely a support to go here. So who is that hero that rounds it out?
I mean, could see the Disruptor again. That's a pretty good all-around hero that happens to still be in the pool. But if you do
great against Slaughter and Ursa, just to counter their blinks and the retreating sprint.
Yeah.
What do you guys feel about Veno? I know it's not exactly a stun, and looks like TnC actually takes out the bounty.
Good call on the bounty, although a bit later. But
Yeah, so I was thinking, what about Veno for Mineski, right? Like, the wards are really annoying for blinkers, Slaughter and Ursa being them, and Gale is super great against Ursa, forces him to pop his ult if he hasn't done so, and
we saw one Veno earlier today.
I'm not fully sold on the
But
hero.
then you still have a Veno.
The way I look at it is, like, as a core, I think any team can pull off a Veno. As a support, like, only a few teams are really good at using the wards effectively to get vision in certain choke points in the jungle, as well as disable his blink daggers and actually make the hero worthwhile. It's really hard to make that hero enabled.
okay. So we're looking at mid here for TnC, something that ideally bring a little bit more stuns, as well as a good lane against OD.
More stuns? You got
Or
Ogre,
no, more
Lion,
push,
Starter?
more push.
Yeah.
That's the thing we're set up for, not more stuns.
I was like, what the
When
hell are you
Lumi
doing?
says stuns, he's just making sure you're still awake,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
still with us. I know it's either very
LD
late
knows,
or very
I've been
early
casting
for most of you.
Go stun the tower.
This is your
Yeah.
coffee check if you need it.
Well, when the tower's dead, you're effectively stunning. Okay.
Holy shit.
Never go full Lumi.
Oh, boy.
So how about something like an Invoker, right?
For TnC,
Yeah. Is that too greedy? I don't think
Invoker's
so.
not
Yeah.
terrible.
The lane against OD is a bit...
They do have Ogre to secure the lane. Yeah, I think you could run Invoker. Slidar's a great setup. The only thing is I feel like the Slidar will definitely need help this game. He's not the best, like, go back to the jungle type hero. He's not going to do that well against the Lifestealer +1 or an X or an OD, frankly.
Go Pugna.
Yeah.
Pugna's the pick here.
Okay, Decryptify is good.
Yeah.
Like, the Axe jumps on somebody, like the Ursa, he pops Blade Mail, and you just decryptify either one of them. It's fine.
Then again, Ursa doesn't really need help.
Oh, boy. Well, there's
Well,
Bush.
Well,
That's not exactly how Pugna used to look. I mean, I know it's Halloween.
He's a
and
little
all,
less
but
Well,
green.
you get the good lane against OD, right?
Normally
Lots
Yeah,
of
yeah,
melee,
it's
yeah.
definitely a counter pick in terms of laning, but and I think the biggest thing is if it's Axe Warlock supports, then you can't help against a sniper. If it's like a 4-position roaming, like Earth Spirit or something, then maybe you can 2v1.
I saw this during MDL though. Like every game, like the sniper was getting 4th or 5th banned overall on, or sorry, like 9th or 10th ban in the draft. And the one game where I saw a sniper was against like 5 jumping heroes. He had no defensive supports. He just got run over.
Right.
But this is not the worst game for a sniper. The only real initiation is a Blink Axe Lifestealer bomb. And you do have like some beefy frontliners to take the heat off of Cuckoo, so I would say it's an okay sniper game. Not amazing, but decent.
They do
Ninja Buki Veno.
Yeah, they end up going with the Venomancer. I would have said Earthshaker, personally. Like, the Fisher is really good here, but
You think he's going to jungle with this?
a little bit. I mean,
Iron Talon, Jungle, Veno. Oh,
Let's
yeah.
go, man.
As long as you get just 1 point in Gale, that you're able to respond to any dives on mid. The OD self-imprison gives you enough time to get there and get involved, so I think it's good.
Well, we'll find out what the lanes are going to look like. But to bring you all the action, we do have the lovely Lyrical. I think now entering his 5th game. He really went through the gauntlet during the opens as well. And joining him will be Professor Nahas.
5-man rock, or you're going to get this ridiculous axe initiation, and that's going to get everybody else into the fight. But you really only have one vehicle to deliver the Lifestealer into the fight, and that's Axe, and he needs a blink in order to do that. Axe, this TnC team can actually bully Axe a little bit in lane. Like, this is a good draft by TnC. I really like this.
I would agree. I think one other thing that I didn't mention that might be worth talking about too, Fatal Bonds, if you get it off, is going to do a lot in this fight with the Venomancer.
No, that's clearly that's clearly kind of what they're going. But again, you have to ask yourself, you have to get into position to use those spells. And so Warlock getting in position to use Fatal Bonds is like fine, that's the easiest thing in the world. But then Venomancer is somehow going to get himself into the fight to use his Nova, and he's probably going to be underleveled anyway. I don't know.
Well, and more so than that too, the other issue is that you also TnC has to be in a position where you can even find the way to get there. Like if they are spread out, which you might be with a sniper in the draft, spreading the angles, and Slardar is going to be very mobile as well.
Yeah.
They might not even be in a position where you can find those initiations. It's going to be a tough one. I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility, but it might be tough.
I mean, look, Lumi made the point earlier on the panel about Earth Spirit and Warlock, that you get that magnetized Fatal Bonds combo off, and you can just have 2 supports killing the whole enemy team.
Right.
And Poison Nova Fatal Bonds can absolutely work in the same way. The problem is I just look at TnC, and TnC has more ways to initiate fights.
Yeah.
And when you're the Wombo Combo team, you generally want to have the initiation advantage.
Right. Long cooldowns paired together with the axe is nice because it means you can drop the rock or you can just go for a call.
But so much in this game is down to Axe's blink dagger timing.
Yeah.
Like if Axe gets his blink dagger faster than Slardar, you're really happy and you can do a lot of stuff. If Slardar gets his blink online before Axe, and God forbid like Lion gets his, you're not happy.
Also, of course, the relatively long cast point on a Berserker's Call might play into this as well with that instant cast on the Hex. But we'll have to see where it goes. Slardar starting off. Sam H going to try and pull the creep wave past Mr. Axe himself, and it looks like we're going to be getting a one-on-one in this top lane, which it doesn't feel like it's going to favor Slardar in the least bit.
Huh. Interesting Dire side top. I like the Radiant. I like the Dire ward in the Radiant jungle here a lot. I'm not as sure, although this ward position is becoming more and more standard. But I'm not as sure about it in this game.
Well, we'll have to see how it goes. Want to take advantage of those early levels, certainly for Miracle, as he's going to get a couple of CS there and pull the creep wave past towards him. But top lane, or bottom lane, is where I imagine a lot of this action is going to be taking place. How do you see this one working out? Is there one team that you're kind of feeling like will be able to get more done in this bottom lane?
I think these are both pretty darn strong lanes, although I worry about if there's the Veno and the Lion are kind of the weak links. Like, whichever of those two heroes gets out of position first, I feel like that team loses the lane.
Okay.
But Veno's got poison. Okay, he's got Gale at level 1, which you expect.
Going on to the Ursa.
There's
Good
the
bit of
Gale
damage.
possibly paying for itself. And the Shadow Word used offensively. They're really underestimating the damage output. That's a nice first blood by Mineski.
Yeah, well done. Jules making it happen. The DOT, and man, it's a huge damage nuke. 15 damage per second over 12-second duration. Ain't nothing to sneeze at, and it's going to feel like it probably keeps on happening in that way.
You know, all of a sudden you offset the fact that nice slow bit low damage from the level 1 Gale.
He'll back up, but he's going to go
give
down.
it right back.
And
Oh,
now,
man, that hurts.
Well, NB trying to walk away as well. They do have Warlock surrounded. Should be able to block off his path going further.
Warlock?
Tries to tango through, but not going to end up happening.
You
And
do
no
realize
mana
you're a
for
Warlock.
Gale here, as he is going to be able to... Nope, die.
No. Yeah, you're a Warlock, dude. You're not an Ogre. You can't do that.
Well, a rough life indeed. Wanting to save his life stealer, but did not end up working out, and so they lose 2.
Oh, look at the OD taking harass to the sniper mid here, though.
I mean, it's
He's
a rough
going
life.
pretty evenly, though. And he's still going to get the Arcane Rune.
Tango's still there. He turned back around, wanted to Astral.
Nope.
But not going to end up working.
Yeah, cast range is like 3. All right. So pretty even in the lanes, I'd say. That it still felt like Mineski failed to capitalize on that early advantage they got from the first blood.
Yeah, you take a look at the laning stage so far, it still seems really even. I think that the idea here is just because TnC has access to this jungle, they're going to... Oh, wait, did that not actually attack? So he doesn't aggro the creeps. Really unfortunate, so they won't be able to deny it out.
That was really odd.
All right. Well, 2-1 so far, 3 kills, and it's looking like I think TnC get a little bit better of the initial part of the laning stage. They're going to be able to, on Mineski, get the pull, and this is where things start to get messy, and there's a chance for a kill if they're able to drag the Radiant creep over, but they aren't, and this is a lot of free experience for Agent Potato.
Yeah, also really important, just as a side note, that Axe trading evenly with Slardar is advantage Mineski because they have so much invested in that Axe blink dagger timing.
And mid lane is really the story of the match, at least somewhat.
Sniper pulling ahead, and again, that's all about now that he's got at least 1 level in take aim, maybe getting another one. That OD is going to have a real problem getting in range to Astral him at all.
Hex, Raging Potato, bottom. He's going to end up going onto him, but not enough damage. And now with the Fatal Bond spread out around, they need to be a little bit careful as Veno is going to drop. They find that kill.
Way down there, buddy.
Well, the thing that's interesting about this is he does do a ton of damage with the Fatal Bonds, and his right click's fairly significant. He's dropping him low. Shadow Ward just barely out of range. That might have killed Teehee. That was close.
Yeah, Warlock. I mean, who's
God,
the
mid
lane
lane
bully now?
Miracle?
Oh.
Jane chased down. They've got the right click, self-astral, keeping him alive, but
he
just
misses the
barely
Gale!
going to miss. Cast
And
is going
look
to
who
be
you've
here.
got in the background. This is going to be a kill on the Veno, too.
Nicely played. The right clicks are there. Lion dies down in the bottom lane, but in the meantime, they're able to find another, and Cuckoo able to walk away from it. Sniper man, ho ho ha ha indeed.
Hey guys, sniper counters something. Except not. Oh, nice body block. Oh, that's so nice.
Raging Potato. Unfortunate. Doesn't make the play he needs to, and they aren't going to be able to get it. So, kind of a little bit of a cluster. Mineski's struggling, but we still do have the Axe to fall back on.
Axe has 28 CS. That's so big for them.
I agree, but again, it's like it's only if Axe goes crazy at that point. Like it's still not guaranteed even if he gets a good blink timing.
I don't know, man. See, all of a sudden they've got damage. Like they've got damage and they've got damage from range, right? They just need to be able to start a fight. They need to be able to get Lifestealer in there.
Well, Sam H gets the crush and runs away. And it looks like Axe is actually going to be going back for Vanguard as well. So wants to try and accelerate that.
No.
This has been the play more often than not as they get the dunk.
I know. Everybody likes their Vanguards now on Axe to play greedy, but I want to see fights, man. I don't want to see Axe sitting there farming creep stacks.
Yeah. Well, they get the Raging Potato Hex down in the bottom lane, but he's just going to walk it off. The other thing that would be nice if they got some of those Ancient stacks, because that's one of the ways where you can get like Axe, Vanguard, and Blink by like 15 minutes, and then it just goes insane.
I guess the idea being, Warlock's only level 4, OD doesn't get his
Axe is actually going to die, though.
Oh, boy. Oh, no. Welp. There went all that.
Yeah.
No need to make that point. I was like, well, I guess with the level timing, it could be okay if he goes Vanguard first. No. Nope.
I think, though, that it does still harken back to a bit of an issue that sometimes when an Axe, you run into an issue where you jump in, you blink, you call, but you still end up dying. And if you get the Vanguard and the blink up in time, he might not have to worry as much about Ursa. It's still going to be a problem.
Yeah, but
it's tough.
The single biggest, to me, again, the single biggest thing is they need Blink on Axe to really get in and start these fights on their own terms.
Yeah. Well, level 7 now for himself as well as the starter. They've traded relatively evenly, and off to the side, the Ogre wraparound. This might just be a kill if they're not careful. And Fire Blast to start it off. There's the crush. A hell of a lot of damage, but they need to be careful. He still does a good bit, and the jump back in, trying to find that crush, slowed by the Gale.
Yeah, that's a really
Sprint
nice
as well as Bloodlust, trying to catch him. Instead, they have to settle for that Venomancer. Unless
what are you doing?
He wanted to dunk. He's not going to get the kill onto the Sam H as he does take down the Ogre, and well, turn it around, might actually get him. No, not gonna happen. Sam H finds it,
and that's like such a big win. Axe dying back to back there.
Ooh, Warlock got Fatal Bonds kills on the Lion.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're about almost 8 minutes into it, and it does the fact that Axe is going for the Vanguard build change? Well, he actually might not be. Does it change the way that you see this game going?
Well, before he died twice, it could have been really good, but that's the risk that you take, right? Now you're wondering about that item. Because all of a sudden, if you have that item at like 6 minutes and you're farming jungle and lane with it, you're getting huge value.
Right.
Now it really is, the onus is on his teammates to make a little bit of space and get him to farm his blink. Because if you can blink, call, infest with the rock behind it, and they have to respect the poison over as well, that's super scary.
Oh, Miracle gonna get ran down. Teehee is there. Hex comes out. They've got the Assassinate. Fire Blast as well, and they do get the kill. Axe trying to turn around, gets Cuckoo, and needs one more spin to make it work. Isn't gonna happen. Axe trying to run down Cuckoo, but can't get him. Bottom lane. Turn on to the Ursa. Infests a creep, but has to jump out and run away.
Yeah. And that's I think, again, just because of the item build, you're going to see that happen to Axe a lot. Like, he's going to spend a lot of time running back and forth and getting mini bashed. I guess it's a mini slow now by Sniper.
No. Oh, God, what a time that was.
Oh, yeah.
The mini bash.
Yeah, that wasn't tilting at all.
Oh, Warlock.
You have Fatal Bonds on you. That hurts.
In the jungle?
That spell hurts, yeah.
Cast is going to find him, and
That
they
spell
do get the
hurts.
kill, but a little unfortunate that the Fatal Bonds ends up taking him down. So Warlock from Beyond the Grave, meanwhile, Cast trying to TP out. Do they have enough damage? No. He gets away.
Okay, can they turn this into a tower?
Do you feel like one team is more comfortable with the state of the game as it's turned out so far?
I think both teams are basically getting what they want. Again, though, the issue is going to be that Slar is going to have that blink in like 200 gold.
Yeah. And with that, do you think they can start making moves around the map,
Oh, yeah.
or do you think that it needs to be like a more concerted effort
yeah,
towards shutting down a particular hero?
Nah, well, obviously you'd love to be able to continue to put pressure on the Axe and the OD, but Lifestealer is building toward his armlet. Doesn't have that done yet. You're looking at they've got a lot of different moves that they can make around the map, does TnC, and Mineski is very limited in their options to start fights right now.
Well, and I mean, as far as what we're seeing so far, it's only a 1,500 gold lead and right around 500 experience, but like you're saying and alluding to, the issue is going to be what happens in these next couple of minutes, and TnC now poised to move out with the Slardar Blink.
Yeah, that's going to be... If they can take a really good fight behind this Slardar Blink, I mean, the Slardar Blink should be probably, if they play it right, worth a couple of tier 1s right here.
They did just spot it, though, heading by that ward. Mineski did, so they won't be caught off guard with it. Oh,
yeah,
man.
Their vision games were pretty good.
Look at the Venomancer down here bottom. What a butthead. All of those wards laid out. That's frustrating.
That's okay. You're still applying pressure mid, which is where you really want to be.
Yeah. Well, Dire scans, wants to make sure that nobody is over here. Little does he realize they're up on the top side.
I'm telling you, man, this is not something that you saw even a year and a half ago in SEA. You just didn't see both teams doing their homework on the opponents with sensible bans. They have good ward positioning throughout most of the game. Like, the level of play in this region has just elevated so much.
Mm-hmm. And the consistency amongst the top teams. The fact that you do kind of have the gatekeeper lineup where some of the top teams aren't getting beaten randomly by a bunch of the other ones. It's consistent results.
Well, that still is my gripe. That I'd like to see a little bit more of that consistency, but I'm just talking about the quality of play and the strategic preparation and decision making has been just so much better. It's really cool to see because again, the issue has never been talent.
Well, bottom lane, Axe only a couple hundred gold away from his blink after taking that 3-stack of Ancients.
And again, they spotted out the Slardar Blink early on. TnC has not been able to make anything happen with their blink timing advantage. Ooh. And that's so huge for Mineski.
Oh, do they realize that Jules is over here? I don't know if they do. Cuckoo is going to TP bottom because it looks like a fight's a brewing, and they want to try and find the Axe before he gets his blink. That's the Ursa wrapping around. Finger of Death comes out as well. He's dropped low, Vanguard, everything but the turnaround. That's the Golem, and, well, they do get the blink jump, and still in some trouble. Assassinate. Oh, Sniper. 2 already caught. My God, what a hero. The Ignite's going to throw it onto several. Raging Potato maybe in a little bit of trouble as well. Can they get the headshots they need? Another blink crush. That's OD gone. Sam H trying to run away, but is it going to be able to escape? It looks like he turns around and now
they're going to kill him.
Shot. Major Potato, you're in some trouble, buddy. All right, he decided to creep.
Oh, just kill the creep wave. Kill the creep wave.
Oh.
Yeah, they have to be careful because that's enough damage to kill the Slardar if he pops out.
Yeah, and we'll see if he decides to head out. They're going to kill off the ranged one first, realize that inside the melee, and try and pull it past. I just jump out and run away.
This is
or they
fun.
might want to fight. They have everybody back up soon.
I think both sides are just gonna. Okay, that's enough, guys.
Well, a pretty huge lead built there by TnC, around 3,000 gold swing into their favor, and looking pretty good.
Interesting. I love that mind game though that you're trying to force the Lifestealer to take control of the creep early. That's cool.
Wow. And unfortunately, for the side of TnC, they don't take the tower. Not feeling comfortable sticking around long enough.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, obviously the 4 hero kills is a really good thing to get, but that you're supposed to be able to turn that early blink on Slardar into 2 tier 1s, and they're only going to get 1.
Mm-hmm. Well, it might end up happening here shortly, but they do have a long cooldown now. Finger of Death still offline, and it is going to come up around the same time that Warlock ulti will as well, so they should be able to contest each other. But it looks like mid lane again, Cuckoo wanting to get aggressive, and we'll see if they can make something happen here.
Yeah, this is just what I like the fact that with TnC that they're probably going to be a little behind. Oh, they're a bit ahead on the net worth, but they've really got the items that their heroes need to be effective through the mid game.
Definitely.
Whereas, okay, Mineski, they do Axe now with his freshly finished off Blink Dagger. They're going to see if they can try and make something happen here. TnC taking a big risk here by possibly committing to the Roshan. This is a pretty telegraphed Rosh attempt.
Well, the pings come out.
And
they don't realize that the rest of the side of TnC is in there, but they're going to drop a ward immediately.
That's not going to fool anybody, guys.
Well, smoke wearing off now also. And it looks like Roshan is going to be left to his own devices.
I like what they're trying to do. They're trying to play a little bit of a mind game there, but
Blink Axe is up and online with a life stealer inside of him. This might be the play though. If they can turn this back around, they also
poor Lion.
They do have Chaotic Offering as well. All right, there's a lot of pings. They realize that they're over here, and now they're stuck though. TnC. Ogre going to be the first one out. Sam H can go for the shadow play. They are going to be able to get him. Finger of Death. A Meteor onto Miracle. He drops. They drop the Golem as well, but it's only going to be Sam H going down, and Ursa's on the back line. Takes down that Venomancer before a whole heck of a lot was even cast.
They're going to get the Golem for free, too.
Oh, and Raging Potato in some trouble. Earth Spike onto 2 in the middle of the call. Oh, man, that's really bad, and they aren't going to be able to break his TP. But still, 3 dead for only the price of that Slardar.
Oh, yeah.
And that's Roche.
And that is easy Roche, and that's a really well-played fight by TnC. I actually think the Ogre's movement was really big in that fight. They knew where they were, smoked. The Ogre immediately turned and said, okay, they're smoked. They are going to initiate onto somebody. Let it be on me. And it was the Ogre and the Slardar that tried to take the brunt of the initiation so that the rest of their team could get their abilities off. Sniper could continue right-clicking. It's just good team coordination in that fight.
Absolutely. An Assassinate thrown out here as well, but now they actually do have some wards that they can drop into the Roshan pit. There's the call! Ursa did get the Aegis though, and now Raging Potato, he wants to go into this. He's nowhere near his buddy, and now also chasing down the Venomancer. He might drop as well, as they've got the vision on him from far away. Sniper, he doesn't have another Assassinate.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
It's just good patience by TnC.
Look at the net worth. Sniper is a monster already. Look at this. 5,000 lead for him. How do you respond now if you're Mineski? Is there any movement that you can make, do you think, or do you need to wait for an item timing?
Well, Lyrical, I would say that you respond by not going Vanguard first on X. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You really do. You just need to get that big Blink Call Infest combo off with the Rock and Nova behind. It's just as simple as that. You need to make that Wombo combo work, and it's getting really dicey for you now because the OD is just so far behind. He's in the bottom half of the net worth charts, and you look at the lead that Sniper has over him. OD is not he's a horrible catch-up core.
Well, they might be able to take down this Ursa. There's the dunk. That's the Aegis at the very least, but
that's fine.
Gonna run the heck away from there, lest things get worse. All right. Well, OD, you mentioned a rough catch-up core. He does get stuff done without a ton of items.
By the way, I just want to make this point too. Look at the itemization. Yeah. Ursa goes Morbid Mask, now completes his Vlads, but he had his Blink Dagger early on. Yeah. So again, it's multiple initiation vehicles.
Ooh. Sorry I missed that kill, everybody, but Slardar takes down the Veno. Quick and easy.
Exactly what we were talking about anyway, right?
Yeah.
We win, sure. Yeah, let's go with that.
I mean, and it really is it's a pretty huge, substantial lead between these top cores. Like Sniper at 8,500 gold, Lifestealer at 6,000. He has a Sanch and Yasha up now. I think he actually has significantly more HP than the Lifestealer does. That is rough. And actually more armor as well. Man, this is a tanky little dwarf. He hits really hard.
He hits really hard, and it's just so important when you have these glass cannon type of heroes to have a team that has the initiation advantage, to have multiple ways to start a fight, multiple ways to create space around the sniper in the fight so he can stand there and do what he does best, right click.
All right, well, actually, excuse me, the armlet wasn't on at that point, so sniper is not as tanky as the lifestealer, but it's close enough. It's getting there.
That's fine.
I mean, the itemization, you've got yourself a Dragon Lance, you've got the Sanjin Yasha now, on top of the raindrops also. I don't know if they can even, like, normally the idea is to focus the sniper, but I feel like at a certain point you kind of need to, like, take out the Lion at this point or something.
I mean, it's not even so much about focusing one hero right now. It's just getting that big AoE initiation off and then having good target prioritization decisions behind that big initiation. But you're not going to get back in this game as Mineski without this big wombo combo fight. You have a lineup that's built for that. It's very hard to execute when you only have really one good way to start a fight.
Yeah, and also it's worth noting now that you go back for the Hand of Midas on the Warlock. This feels like a good decision, but it also sort of signals that this is maybe for Mineski a game that you need to take to that late game scenario.
Yeah, I actually hate that decision. I think at this point that I understand what you're saying. There is some value in it, but I think you've got to build for utility on the Warlock right now.
Yeah.
Like you need a Force Staff. You need tools to get yourselves in better positions in these fights, to get in on the sniper, to get heroes that are low out.
Oh, it's tough too. I mean, because it also does feel like if eventually TnC are just going to go for like this group up and take a lane.
I mean, that's now.
Style.
They're not gonna. You're not gonna. You might not finish your Midas as Warlock.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see how this ends up going, as Lion is going to go for the wraparound, places a ward deep, does spot out that axe, moving over in that direction, and that should signal to them that they could go for an initiation, and playing it very safe. Could go on the exact opposite side of the tower.
Man.
Well, he finished his Midas, so there's that. Jules has a Midas. You don't seem impressed.
Well, I'm just looking at the amount of you look at the amount of work that this is. What I love about Ursa. He's got Blink and Vlad's, and he's still scary as hell.
Oh, definitely. And Lifestealer now has been able to build into a Desolator, so you got a good bit of damage out of him. But it fits back in again to that wombo combo and then clean up after the fact. Blink Dagger now done on the Lion. Counter initiation is real.
Oh my God! You have this is the nightmare though. You have 3 blinks on TnC.
Yeah.
Like, what is Mineski supposed to do? You're past the point where you need this one big AoE wombo combo now.
This was a nice little play though, and I do like the Venomancer placing out the wards, scouting out a little bit of extra vision without putting himself in danger. It does help. Like, there's the ways that they have to hold the game out for longer pieces. It just, I guess, does also come down to if TnC are going to allow that to happen.
No, I mean, there's really no reason that they should. They have so many options right now. I would be very disappointed to see them stopping. Oh,
Ursa's going to end up popping.
That's a mistake. I understand that they're kind of resetting there. They're going to go back, try and get a little bit of efficiency going by farming multiple lanes at once, but I feel like they could have just balled up and just go to the next lane.
Oh. Well, it does look like they're even considering doing that again, as Sam H is going to be moving over this direction. 3 heroes in the area, waiting for somebody to farm it. Miracle is here as well with the Force Staff. If they go onto one of these guys, they might be biting off more than they can chew. Although we do also have Axe, and Ellie spots out Cass, looking for the jump.
They know.
Rush. Raging Potato in some trouble. They turn, and there's the Astral to save his buddy.
Matter.
Oh, and Sniper on top of him now. Raging Potato taking some damage. He is going to try and armlet toggle his way out of here. Miracle running out, and Lion. All right, they don't have OD for this fight. He actually cancels his TP. It looks like they realize they have to take this. That's going to be a dead Warlock, and now you might just lose your OD because of it.
Oh, and they're not giving up on this either.
Oh, man. They don't have the OD for this fight. This is going to be rough.
Yeah, the combination of the Astral and the armlet toggle was really nice there. He had Rage off cooldown as well, so the Lifestealer is able to save himself. Miracle praying. Stay in the trees.
Yeah. I mean, he has to wait until it's off cooldown. God, that really hurts. And again, it feels like little bits of miscommunication. Like you go in, you want to try and you realize that you want to try and find a pickoff. Great.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, you move in, you realize that you're not going to be able to take the fight. You back out, say everybody escape, and then he TPs away. But then somebody makes the call. Well, they've caught one of us. Maybe we should go back and try and save him. He cancels his TP, and now he's stuck down here for a little while.
But seriously though, the number one, the only important thing about that is the lifestealer living. Because he's your only farmed hero on Dire. He actually does have some pretty decent damage potential now with the Deso Armlet Sanj completed. He gives you a chance. And it may be, you know, Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber saying,
Yeah.
so you're saying there's a chance, but
Right.
it is a chance.
Oh, no. And you know what? They're going to jump. Well, do they think that this Slardar is real? They ping out that that one is moving away. The problem was that they actually scanned this area, and it came up real. All right, now they realize that's not a real one. Okay.
Yep.
Radiant's top tower is under
Oh, now jump could come. They found one. Teehee gets the counterplay in the midst of three.
Okay.
They do throw out the Venom ulti. Not sure if it's going to be enough. Actually, the Ursa is already dropping really low. Teehee might end up going down himself. Axe is already gone.
Axe
Gem
is
on the
Axe.
ground. And now with Cass, the only one left alive in the area outside of that sniper, Mineski, he's actually trying to block him out. Can they slow this guy down? The Assassinate's going to come, and that might be enough to kill off the Veno. He is going to drop to the Ignite. Cast is gone. So they lose 4 in exchange for 3. But Sniper lives, and so does Lifestealer.
Axe did what he needed to do in that fight, and that was just a little bit of mistakes in positioning in TnC, letting Axe get off the multi-hero call and creating just enough time for Lifestealer to do damage in that fight. And now, again, you know, Lifestealer now all of a sudden has a way to deal with that Ursa, who doesn't really want to build a BKB at this point.
Right. No, it's looking better. Mineski are pulling themselves back into this one.
And Ursa buys a 4-staff. This is all. I like the way TnC is approaching this in mobility, but Lifestealer is now doing enough damage that they're going to need to respect that.
All right, this is a game with an Ursa 4-staff. Just let's let that sink in for a moment, and then we can go on with the rest of our life.
Look, it's a game with an Ursa 4-staff, but it makes sense.
It does, but like now the problem is that you're gonna like go play a game of Dota and everybody's gonna be buying 4-staffs, or maybe not.
Well, okay, yeah, that's true.
I don't know if it's gonna end up being enough.
We saw Cliff Jumbling Timbersaw earlier.
Here's the thing,
pub
though.
seat is over.
But I do wonder if like maybe Ags might have been a better option, because if you, I don't know, I don't want to try and critique his item choices anymore. I want to see what the 4-staff does, and in which instance. Where do you feel like this is going to be best?
Ags is kind of, I don't know. Ags is a little bit awkward just because of the imprison.
All right, well, we do have another counter gank that's going to be coming this direction. We'll see if Ursa can escape. It looks like they are not going to find him, and he does get the hell out of there. Well, Axe. Another big call could be coming. They're kind of grouped up.
Yeah, they are. This is the thing.
Nope. They're going to head back the other direction. They ping out a little bit too late, so not realizing where TnC was, and instead they're going to head over and maybe decide to take Roshan.
But do you see the difference now? That with the one big team fight win, all of a sudden TnC have to really respect Mineski's big AoE initiation wombo combo potential.
That's the second smoke now.
The tenor of this game has changed a lot with that one fight.
Is Cuckoo going to break the second smoke that just got used? He's going to scout out Roche. They're looking. They want to take this guy. But it looks like they are not going to be able to find him as of yet. Well, they spot Teehee maybe? They'll realize where he is, and they should just blow him up.
That's just really greedy to be going for that D-ward there.
Well, Axe misses the call, but that's fine.
That's fine, but that could quite easily be a Roche right now, and that's a really big, turns it into a really big misplay by TnC.
Cuckoo, level 15.
Boy, all of a sudden,
Can I throw
Mineski's
some over there?
in the thick of it.
Yeah, it is an issue. And man, the ward vision that they're getting by virtue of this Venomancer as well is really great. Assassinates could keep coming out. We'll see if Sniper does decide to continue to spam those. But TnC, very clear with their movement around the map. They don't really care about, or at least they can't stop Mineski from getting Roshan. There we are.
Yeah, it's. I liked this concept by TnC of the max mobility, multiple ways to get yourself into fights. But the fact is, when you go those builds and you lose a fight, and or you make positioning mistakes and you give up a pick, all of a sudden, those mobility items, you're not getting value out of them like you should.
Right. Oh, and now Sniper. Well, he spotted out the axe, but a little bit
what's that really
going
gonna
to
do? Yeah.
Well, again, the game has slowed down somewhat. We are currently at that 30-minute mark, and neither team has really pulled away from the other.
This is really dead even at this point. I thought TnC was going to press the attack a little bit more, get a little bit more value out of the max mobility builds. But as the game goes on, there certainly comes a point where Mineski will pull ahead, having itemized more traditionally for damage.
Not only that, but also more traditionally for Midas.
Yep, I
Feeling pretty good
that's
for
true.
Jules.
You're letting you're letting that Warlock Midas pay for itself.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right.
Oh, and he's even taking the small creeps now, wants to get the most out of that gold, give the rest of it over to a Raging Potato. So yeah, good stuff. I feel like definitely the pace of this game slowing down has favored Mineski
Big time.
exceptionally. And TnC, the onus is on them. The problem is that it's really hard to fight into this lineup right now. And
that's the problem.
Aegis.
Is that you lose one fight, and all of a sudden you start playing a little bit scared. You make a mistake, they take the Roche, and the game's dead even again.
Need to find a pick. Mineski aren't giving it to him. As Manta gets illusion runes, and it looks like Mineski are ready to start moving down the mid lane.
Now they're playing 5-man Dota, which is exactly what their lineup demands they do. Now the Venomancer is doing a good job. He's been kind of out in front, but he's been using those wards to protect himself.
Cast in some trouble, turned upon, and going to get chopped down. Tier 2 tower in their sights, and it's dropping very quickly.
I think Mineski is looking awfully good. They've weathered the storm. This is it's a good trade-off by TnC to be able to get this top lane pushed in. They're gonna try and force Mineski back to their own tier 3 top.
Well, same token, yep. Mineski is going to be pulled back this direction, and looks like they're going to try and keep the pressure on right now for the Venomancer, but cannot really chase super effectively. Even Sam H is a little bit afraid to head off this direction, and they are going to be able to TP out on the Venomancer.
I still got 2 minutes left on that Aegis.
Are they really going to go back in here?
That would be awfully optimistic. When your Warlock with Rock up and your Veno with Poison Nova up are nowhere near.
All right, they're looking for a pickoff, and Teehee is in the area. Might just give it to him. This is actually a really heads-up play from Mineski. They realize that people are going to be over there. And yeah, they back. Well, oh man, jump forward. The counter play is there. Sam H on top of him, but they haven't been able to find one kill. It looks like Teehee is going to drop as well, and trying to escape. Sam H is going down. Suddenly, Mineski looking very strong and ready to take high ground, maybe.
The wheels are coming off for TnC here. Not much more to be said.
It is definitely feeling very rough, but Mineski likewise feeling very confident in themselves. The tune of a 2,500 net worth swing, right around 6,000 gold into their favor, and the tier 3 tower is going to go down. Mineski looking good. And jump forward, call, Astral.
Stealer?
A little bit of a misplay, that's fine.
Stealer?
Cuckoo. All right, they're going to not go for it. They drop the rock onto 2 now. Tast and a ton of Fatal Bonds damage being dealt. Can they find that kill? Looks like he might just drop in the midst of that. That Assassinate comes out.
So
and
weird.
Another counter play. They do a Finger of Death. Turn it on the axe. It's going to walk away. Really low HP, but in the end, Ursa gets his, and won't be able to find the kill into Jules. That was very low.
Ursa, you need a basher so badly, but you're going BKB.
And now they're going to be able to turn onto the Golem. Needed one more hit, maybe 2 for the melee, but doesn't find it. They focus down the catapults, and, well, it's just a tier 3 tower.
Okay.
They might have wanted to focus the barracks.
You would maybe think. That was a very, very strange sequence there inside the Radiant base.
And a huge gold swing as well. A lot of it going back to Cuckoo. He has 3,500 gold in the bank, and now they've found Jules, but they can't actually find that kill.
No.
Long time
And
before
what are you
Roche.
doing in the Roche pit, buddy? Yeah.
You want to pick up a TP.
Oh, all right.
Value. I don't know if he did pick that up or if he had it on him already.
Plays.
Shadowblade Slardar late game. Is there anything that's really sticking out to you as far as like big itemization or
OD,
movement around the map?
BKB.
Okay.
All of a sudden, Ogre, Lion, the Slar Crush, that much less scary.
Yeah.
And if you look at the formations in which Mineski been fighting, they've been balling up 5-man Dota, and all of a sudden, if your cores don't have to worry about those spells, don't have to worry about those multiple initiation vehicles from TnC.
Also worth noting, Jules only 900 gold away from his Aghanim Scepter. We have that Shadowblade turn to Silver Edge for the Sniper for initiation, and that damage reduction always very relevant. But it looks like for now both teams just comfortable sitting back and not wanting to overextend into the enemy jungle.
Yeah, the next Roche cycle really does become super huge in this game. I feel like TnC cannot let Mineski have this next Roche.
Yeah, it would definitely be a problem.
I do think that with an Aegis, Mineski can do a lot of damage to the Radiant base.
The wraparound is going to happen. They call it out, and this might catch Mineski a little bit unawares. If they're able to find this,
up here, though.
and they just are getting Chaotic Offering off of cooldown as well.
Well, they know where he is. They know where he is.
The pings, Axe is there. They jump onto him. Oh, pump fake. They throw it now onto Teehee, blocking their way out. Lion is actually trapped there. He is going to drop, but that also means Sam H is trapped. They get the Veno ulti off. Is it going to be enough damage? Veno's gone. Cass is going to drop as well, and now the Ursa left alone. He doesn't force that far enough, and they've also found another. So just like that, TnC going to get pulled apart, and, well, Shadowblade away. Can they find it? Call it again! Oh, that's a beautiful godlike sniper! Oh, my God. Too much damage, too much gold. Oh lordy, that was a good call.
Up the bus. This one's getting close to over.
That was such a great call. Oh my God.
It really was, and it looked like the story of the last couple of fights was going to be repeated. That Sniper's doing his job. He's doing a lot of damage. He's getting his items up, but the rest of his team is not surviving. And of course, that time they were actually able to chase down the Sniper, but the story is still the same.
Yeah. And OD now, Blink. BKB still on cooldown, but the Hurricane Pike, they're ready to start taking these downs. AC also almost done for lifesteal, and I feel like this time around they are probably going to be able to get those barracks. Although Crush onto 2, call counter initiation. They get the Hex on a Raging Potato, almost bringing him down. They do find the kill, and also the Slardar. So a little bit of a tip for tat.
The Sniper, though.
All right, this is a little bit odd, and well, Astral going to keep his buddy alive. They don't have really
sure
that
Astral
much.
Keeps him alive.
They have Upheaval being used as well, trying to slow them, and they're on top of that. Well, they don't end up finding the kill on the with the Ursa.
No, that's actually, I'm not sure about these imprisons.
They're been looking a little bit suspect. And just like that, again.
It's 3-on-3 though.
Yeah. Buyback status, you do have it for the Axe.
Well, the big thing is that the
Obviously,
Sniper doesn't have it, and is not going to have it for another almost 7 minutes.
Right. Well, looks like Ursa. BKB popped. They have the ability to kite him out. They are not actually hitting any of these heroes. Ghost Scepter as well. BKB
nice
popped.
BKB timing. Nice
and now
BKB
take
timing.
the Invis Rune as well. Oh my God. Ursa just wants to hug somebody, and they get the Venom ulti off onto Cast. But it looks like they are not going to get any hugs this time. Although, never mind. Jules. Why?
Yeah, that's, yeah.
I'm not. I feel like there was something I missed there because he headed
Same
down.
thought, buddy. They get a little bit unlucky with the Roche timing, but hopefully they will check it in another 30 seconds or so. Okay. Still a game.
Yeah. They pulled it back. TnC looking a little bit stronger.
I really did think TnC were falling apart a little bit. Some of the decision making looked a little bit suspect, but that the couple OD Astros a little bit unfortunate in that last fight. I feel like he certainly didn't do Axe any favors, imprisoning him in the mid lane trees.
Right. Well, and one other thing to keep in mind, that last fight was not only without Warlock ulti, but it would have been the first Warlock ulti with Aghanims also.
That's a really good point.
Which, if he keeps on getting this gold, it feels like you're holding on right now for TnC, but holding on for what? They have to make a move.
I mean, again, one thing that you always have to look at in these games is, what does each team get out of winning a fight?
Right.
And when you look at the Warlock, Aghanims, all the pushing power on Mineski right now, if they win a fight, they do serious damage to the TnC base. It's not clear that TnC win a fight, they have the same kind of damage potential in terms of taking control of the dire side of the map. And Roche is going to be up in this next fight. This is absolutely key.
Yeah, this is the big one.
Yep.
One for all the marbles or cojones or whatever it is. I don't even know exactly what the metaphor is, but it's important. That's what we're trying to say here. 40 minutes into it, and the vision advantage, they don't have much on TnC, maybe a little bit outside the Roche pit, and kind of a similar story for Mineski. So
No. Mineski has the ward where they absolutely have to have it, and that's they're going to have a vision advantage over the Roche
they
pit
do have
if
this
the
one as
fight,
well.
Yeah, if the fight takes place anytime soon.
And also, they do have the Venomancer Plague Wards as well, breaking Blink Daggers, which is always a problem at these late stages of the game.
And you can kind of see the vision disadvantage in the way that TnC is setting up. They're kind of milling about on the Radiant jungle steps. They can't really get into position to threaten Roche all that effectively.
Well, and I think that if you win a fight like this, they kind of have to go for some type of a smoke play or something, because they can't just walk into Mineski, obviously.
Oh, no.
It almost feels like they need to be there for the counter initiation, but even that's going to be tough because Warlock has the rocks to drop.
And, oh boy, if they let this go for free, and they're going to, it's too late. They can't contest.
Well, they're in a bit of a scary spot. Ursa, they're not there. Oh man, that really hurts. I guess though that at the end of the day, they really don't have the lineup to contest Roshan that well. Like, you kind of can drop down the shells with the sniper, but I don't know.
At some point though, that while what you just said is true, they're also facing a lineup that giving up Aegis and Cheese to is very problematic.
Yeah.
I think you have to make some effort to contest there.
The tough part too, though, is that this is my thought with it at least. If you lose the Aegis there, you have to fight them without. You have to try and pull them out of position and take it on one by one.
What are you? The question you have to. What are you playing for at this point for TnC? Single core sniper is not going to carry you. You have an Ursa that's built, for mobility and defense with the BKB.
Look at this guy. He doesn't care.
Why not? Why not, man? I'm an infested axe, dude. Come get some.
That's great.
What are your 3 blink daggers gonna do for you now?
Oh man. Well, they are pushing along the top lane, hoping to get something out of this, and you can see the ideas, but Mineski getting set up, and a whole heck of a lot of team fight. Ready to go. Okay. Hex, they also broke the Silver Edge onto Raging Potato, but it's just going to come at the cost of a little bit of vision, taking Venomancer slightly low, and I imagine they back out at this point.
Yeah, this is just really, it's been great patience by Mineski, because really, after they were able to be patient and take that one big fight nearby between the Dire Tier 1 and Tier 2, they, apart from a kind of questionable Imprison in the Radiant mid lane, they haven't really given up a pick.
Yeah. It's true.
And TnC has been giving up support picks all over the place.
Mineski have looked a lot better than I expected them to, and that's also, I think that TnC are probably better than people are giving them credit for. This game, it hasn't looked terrible for them by any means. It's been very back and forth, and both teams are playing at a higher level than I expected. Well, I expected TnC to be at about this level. I didn't expect Mineski to be here.
Oh, I thought for a while with the number of these teams, but particularly when you just look at the names on this Mineski roster and realize that if you have good coordination, good team play, you're going to win some games with these 5 players. That's as a lot of times with SEA teams, I question the patience, I question
Right.
the consistency, but that's been there for Mineski.
Well, and I think that they have a bit of a chip on their shoulder. You think back to,
Yeah, that's
being
a good point.
consistently known as the best team in Southeast Asia, and that really has not proved to be the point through the past 2-3
I like
majors.
look at Axe, just like he's just going wherever he wants on the map right now
Yeah.
with Lifesteal on the side of him.
Oh, and yeah, playing it safe, wanting to make sure that they come out of this. Best of ones, anything can happen, and you want to make sure that you ensure them if you do have that advantage, which they definitely do. 7,500. I would say that I would like to see them do something with the Aegis. Like, they kind of need to make that happen. I mean, they gotta do something. You can't just like sit on an Aegis.
But look at how they scale. Like you've still got Refresher to come up on Warlock. Neither Lifestealer nor OD are 6 slotted yet. Like you've got plenty of room to grow.
You don't need to
as Mineski. Whereas TnC, they've got Sniper is full or going to be there soon, and Ursa because of his build.
Oh, well, they found Sniper, and that is a pretty huge.
Oh!
All right, run away, little man. They're going to be able to get away from him, and now turned upon.
Oh
Raging
my
Potato
God.
controlled. He's
Is
going to
this
go
the
down.
mistake?
Okay, and the
This
rest of
could-
the team is away from him.
Yeah.
Quick
They're
crush.
letting him go. They're letting him go. It's probably the right call.
Yeah, that is. And, well, he is going to turn upon them and slowed down, controlled, and killed. Top
Yeah.
lane still pushed in, though.
That's a long respawn time.
I'm not sure what Axe is going to do here, but Sam H, well, they
Axe
actually
is
do
gonna be
get it.
Axe.
Good bit of damage. Sam H gonna drop low, but not dead. They don't get the ulti onto him, and Astral
Oh,
last second
nice,
counterplay
Astral.
there as well. Teehee dropping low, cast also turned upon. Can they find it? They're fire blasting the Ogre. They're still running away now, and with the BKB out from Ursa, I think that that's going to be the end of it. The Golems aren't going to really do all that much here.
Yeah,
they have to turn on the barracks.
I don't know. I get what they were thinking, but it's still, by the numbers, it's a weird play by Mineski to commit the Warlock ult with Lifestealer already down, and now you're just going to give up those 2 golems. I don't know. I get what they're trying to do. I really do, but I still think you play it. You make the simple play there.
Well,
You're not. I really do. I look at this game, and I don't think Mineski are the ones that are under pressure to do anything right now. Yes, the Aegis advantage is fine, but especially once after the Lifestealer dies, you're like, our Warlock's gonna have Ags Refresher soon, dude. We're fine.
Well,
our Veno can still get Ags. Like,
that's the question to me, though, is like, if you do go for a play, you have to do it with your whole team. But
Yeah.
it does feel like if you are going to get Aegis, I think you do at least want to take a fight with that advantage.
oh sure, but it's not nearly when you look at yourself and you say, we have the scaling advantage. We, in the next 10 minutes of this game, the items coming up for us are going to be bigger than the other team. You don't have to.
Right.
It obviously you want to make use of that asset, but it's not. You avoid putting yourself in an unfavorable situation.
Well, top lane going to be pressured in now by the Warlock. He is getting ever closer to that Refresher. Still a little ways away, but with the Midas, he's scaling very well. And it does look like also, BKB charge is something to worth keeping our eyes on, as Axe is setting up on people here, but they have Ward in the area. So, needs to be careful. Now Ursa's just hanging out in the trees.
I do have to say, especially because I commented on it in the one fight, apart from the one mid-fight, the imprisons this game from OD have really been on point. Like, I feel like Miracle has done a very good job with those on balance in most of the engagements.
Look at this guy. He is just a creeper in the jungle. That is scary. What a guy. All right. Well, they're going to move out now. Smoke in towards the Radiant side of the map. And
It looked like there may have been a little indecision there from Mineski. They're kind of semi-rune bait here. And then that's not a bad idea. They knew TnC were in that part of the map.
Another big issue is that they're just lost so much of their map control. Like, look at the vision right now
Yeah.
of Mineski. They don't have much, and
This is really the first time I've been able to point to in this match that Mineski has not had a vision advantage.
oh god, they actually have eyes on him. And a smoke moving out right now from TnC. This could be huge. If they're able to find him, and if they get the jump onto one of these heroes right off the bat,
I think they see it coming.
they have Chaotic Offering, jump forward,
what
crush
a
onto
crush!
2. A lot of damage being dealt, but they get the rock turnaround. Not sure if it's going to be enough. They are going to be able to kill off the OD right at the start, so that's a huge amount of Mineski's damage gone. Nice force staff to the low ground, but I don't think that that's going to end up being enough either. The Ursa does finally get dropped by the Golem, but 2-for-2 exchange. The buyback from the Slardar, looking for another fight here as Cuckoo is going to be able to turn around onto this, but Axe back in the fray, trying to bring him low. Can he do it? Yes, he will. Double dunk. Get out of here. Mineski, takedown 4, and God, it looks like, are they really going to back out again? Oh my goodness. They might. I don't know. This is...
That'd be a little... Well, okay.
They don't feel confident. It's a lot of gold into the coffers, too, so maybe you just re-go again afterwards.
Guys, they've got Ogre up. We can't push their base.
Are they getting the gem back? Or has the... Yeah, they picked up the gem. Radiant gave that one away and then sent out the courier. A little unfortunate there, but a nice win for Mineski picking up the gem. And Mineski further ahead.
Yeah, and I do think that falling bank, though, is exemplary of the mentality that I was referring to, that they don't fail. Look at Lifestealer's going to go ahead and pick himself up and work it as his 6th slot.
Oh, it's time to party. Let's do it, Bloodthorn Gaming. It's the new rage. The silence and sensation that's sweeping the nation. With Lifestealer, Axe Bomb in tow. It's a problem. I don't think that any of these guys really have... I mean, I guess you have BKB on Ursa.
I mean, you're down to 6 seconds already on that. Yeah, he's going to finish off his Abyssal, which is great. But then you look at the Mineski side, and there's nobody that they're really that scared of them initiating on, like you'd be TnC scared of somebody initiating on Sniper.
Well, Aegis now up and online for OD, and Mineski feeling very strong after that early rough patch going through it. They have now been able to build a 10,000 net worth lead.
There is the only item that matters right now.
Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah, that Midas has, boy, I was doubting it, but that Midas has paid for itself several times over at this point.
I mean, you look at the tier 3s, and it looked like they were about to get assaulted. The top one even took a bit of damage early on, but it does feel like Mineski, they have that Venomancer kind of in their back pocket to hold these towers, and it's done a good job of making sure that they didn't just outright lose, which allows the the Warlock to play more greedy. So, I mean, good on the Veno.
The Veno's been okay. I still think it's more a matter of Mineski having a really good concept of game flow and understanding that they had to wait for their time to pick the one big turnaround fight, and then they could start to make TnC feel pressure on the map. They've just understood their win conditions a little better.
You know what I want to see? I want to see Axe pick up a refresher. It's been a while since we've had that happen.
What? Okay.
Double call.
You really want to see your co-caster have an aneurysm. That's what you're rooting for here. It's probably what chat's rooting for. All right, we'll give the people what they want.
Yeah, it's probably. I mean, the dream item is the Aghanim Scepter. Just dunk people from full HP, pretty much.
I'm on board with that.
Yeah, that's good stuff. But it looks like instead playing an ever cautious route.
Or he could just, be smart and well, I guess BKB's not that great.
I mean, at the end of the day, they have a really good window here where even with the items he's keeping, it's going to be fine. So he can build into his next one depending upon what TnC takes.
Okay, so now watch how fast Sniper dies when Axe jumps him, Lifestealer Infest Bomb, Bloodthorns, and hits him twice.
I mean, they got to get into range. Sniper hits from pretty far away, I've heard. And
I've heard that.
Looks like they aren't. I mean, they do have like triple force staff into jump call, and there's the jump on the cast, pulling him back in. The Warlock ulti, first one dropped. They might be able to bait them into thinking there isn't a second and jump forward. Teehee finds the catch, and looks like they're going to turn on to these Warlock golems.
Wow, all right.
They burn through them. and didn't use Refresher. Meanwhile, on the other side of the fight, Raging Potato is there. They get the counterplay. Mineski taking a lot of damage. They throw out the second Warlock ulti. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough, though.
Cheese, life steal cheese.
BKB popped, and Teehee. All right, yeah, that cheese actually destroyed them. Now you buy back on the axe. He's going to come back into the fray, but Miracle on top of everybody. Cuckoo's starting to drop. They throw out the Sane's Eclipse. Can they kill off Cast? Doesn't look like they're going to be able to. And the jump forward blink. Well, Rior chasing down as well. They stun up Miracle. He's in some trouble. Triple kill for him. Aegis going to come back in a second, as already the Venomancer alive on 26 HP will finally fall. And it looks like a Self-Astral in a little bit of trouble as he is going to force Staff away. And yeah, he ends up falling to the Sniper. So suddenly, Mineski, they do take down 2 lanes of barracks, but they lost a good bit of heroes forward and an axe buyback.
I am unreasonably amused by the Lion like blinking in to right-click kill the Venomancer, because why not?
Yeah.
I don't know why that amused me so much.
I mean,
but the gems on the ground.
Oh my god, look at the cold swing.
Yep.
It's 4 heroes buying back. That's the big concern there as well.
Exactly. That's the problem, is that as Mineski, you won that fight, period.
Yeah. And he talked about it.
TnC just don't have the kind of lineup that, their lineup is not designed to fight at a deficit like this. Oh, yeah, bae.
Missing their window, always a rough one. And I mean, the second round up here is they go for the last lane of barracks. I mean, you think that they need to wait until Roshan comes back up, or you think Mineski are fairly comfortable even just trying to go down a lane at this point?
I think they can probably end the game. I mean, obviously not now.
See you later, Warlock.
But yeah, I think Mineski has to be watching a couple of the other games that we've seen earlier tonight and maybe thinking to himself, let's just not make the big mistake.
Abyssal Blade recipe. What is this courier going to go get? And can he actually even find it? The Veno Ward is up on the high ground. If they send the courier in at kind of unfortunate time, they're not going to send it in yet.
No.
They got to be careful with that one. Well, like we were talking about, 25,000 gold lead and right around 15,000 experience.
And we might cross the hour mark here. Well, that was interesting.
Do they realize where it is? He wants to send it to the side shop.
Like,
I guess he wants to get the Vit booster. Very awkward moment.
Vit booster?
Yeah, to finish off the Abyssal Blade. I'm assuming. So that way you can get the Vanguard?
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't have the gold for it yet, though.
Oh, I didn't see it was already on the courier. Got it.
But nonetheless, you still have the problem of Axe going insane. Shiva's Guard is what he decided to go for.
Yeah, there it is.
With the Lifestealer inside. Yeah, and they have Abyssal on Ursa, so there are ways for them to take these fights and burst an individual target. I kind of feel like they have to find that Warlock, though, and he's just been able to do what he wants in the early instances of these fights, and TnC need to get the jump. It's rough, though. It's hard.
I feel like we've reached the point where Mineski has to make a mistake.
Yeah.
TnC.
It's going to be a hard one. You got Refresher OD.
Yeah.
Double Hex. It's double Sane's Eclipse. Why not?
Oh, I mean, double Hex, double BKB.
Oh.
Yeah, why not?
Bottom lane, pressuring in. You've got a heck of a lot of creeps that are moving in through here. And, it might even just be worth it going for tier 4s. Who needs to siege? If they find a pick, the game is basically over. You don't have buyback on 4 different heroes. And honestly, I mean, do they actually have it on anybody? They don't have buyback on anybody. And guess what? That's going to end up being a 10 Ursa. Cast dropping as well. It was a very valiant effort, but 100 seconds with no Ursa might just be the nail in the coffin. They do have Refresher back up and online for Warlock as well. They're going to use it now and probably drop the second Golem in just a little bit. Jump forward, crush. Oh, they broke the blink, and yeah, that's a problem. BKB pop for Cuckoo. They throw out another one, but there's the catch, and Seni's Eclipse dropped everything onto the head of TnC. It is a hard life indeed. They might kill off that axe, but he eats the cheese, and GG gets called. Well, Nahaz, we have seen a couple of different games so far tonight. how are you feeling about Mineski as a team relative to the other matches that we've watched, the other teams that are here in the qualifiers? Do you think they have what it takes to get top 4, make it through to the playoffs?
I think that there are 4 or 5 teams in this region that if they play consistent, disciplined Dota and show good team decision making at all phases of the game, can absolutely do it, and Mineski's one of them, and they did that in this game. Their early game was kind of all over the place. I really didn't like the early itemization decision by the Axe, but they knew that they had to be patient and take a fight at the right time, and they were able to turn the game around based on that. I really like what I've seen from them in this game. This is a very composed team.
Absolutely, I'm impressed. I think they can make it as well. I'm kind of on the maybe a little bit of the Mineski wagon. Is that game proved that they convinced me more that they were better than I thought they were, and we'll have to see through the next couple of ones again. Anything can happen in best of 1,
Right.
but thank you guys so much for watching. Any final words before we sign off right here for this broadcast?
Just always fun casting SEA Dota. You never know what's going to happen, but it's going to be fun to watch.
All right, well, everybody stick around. More to come here in the Boston Major Qualifiers. See you guys in just a bit.